in-game purchases, known as microtransactions.
Let's talk about that.
Really?
Yes.
This is Dr. Freeman.
This is Alex.
Good Mythical Gaming. In today's show, we will discuss about microtransactions, have interview with some experienced gamer, and we will discuss about Half-Life 3.
Again, first and foremost, for those that don't know, microtransactions are purchases done in games for in-game items.
More and more game developers are using this technique to gain more dinero.
And it seems to be working.
We will dive into the community itself, scour some data and news media to answer this question. Are microtransactions a good investment?
No.
Yes. Let's start with this article from GamePointNow.com, made by Chris Cook. In this article, it talks about the good, the bad, and the crazy about microtransactions. And it's also the title.
I see what they did there, a very clever literary technique, and it definitely catches my attention.
That's what they are trying to do. They use repetition to catch people's attention. It is definitely better than using microtransaction as the title.
I see they also use good visual features.
It's Fry from Futurama, brought to you by Fox.
We're not in partnership with Fox.
Oh really?
Yeah, we're not in partnership with anyone.
Oh. Well, I'm off doing some paperwork.
Dr. Freeman, we're still on air.
Oh, sorry. The author is definitely trying to tell the audience about microtransaction in a very humorous way. He put this picture in to show how most people will think about those who spend their money on microtransaction. But the reality is far from it.
This is how I imagine you with your Team Fortress hats.
Shut up. Let's move on to another media. I have done a bit of work.
Surprising.
I have interviewed some of my friends about this topic.
Let me guess, they all thought microtransactions were great.
Yes, they thought it was great.
Wait, is that all those messages that I kept getting at 2 in the morning from you?
Yes. All my friends are on at 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I have no choice of when I'm going to message them.
Anyway, what did they say?
Well, some of them say that microtransactions build the basis of in-game economy.
Well, not all games with microtransactions have trading capabilities.
No, but those that have it create an entirely new economy. The people who make Team Fortress 2, Valve, hired an economist to assess their in-game economy. That's how big it is. But anyway, there's another friend of mine that stated that microtransaction can be a bank of sort. The only difference with this is that you can actually use the money that you invest in-game.
I disagree. How could it be like a bank? Where in the world is there a video game ATM?
There isn't. The only way that you can claim the money back is by PayPal. And there are a lot of people out there that want your item for real money.
I guess microtransactions can kind of feel like a bank.
Yes, and that, my good friend, is a simile.
Oh, so it is.
And it can be profitable if done right. Like shown here, I have made $200 from trading.
Fair enough, that's all fine and dandy. However, there are, as I said before, people who spend a lot of money on these virtual goods. For example, one boy from Belgium has spent over $46,000 on a free-to-play iOS game. Let's see more.
Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins, and while spending $10,000 a month in free-to-play games has happened, Zynga's even bragged about it, in fact, before they went, And last year, a 5-year-old boy made headlines for running up a 1,700-pound bill in just 10 minutes on his parents' iPad, but move over, guys. There's a new absurd record in town. A 15-year-old boy from Belgium has spent $46,700 in the free-to-play iOS game Game of War Fire Age. Well, 37,000 euro, but that's the rough exchange. Like many other similar titles, the game is free to download and play, but offers in-game purchases to ease your way. The boy secured his mother's credit card information when she got his help to purchase some ebooks, and promptly started using her card to buy in-game gold currency. No one noticed the charges to his mother's credit card at first, and when they did, he claimed he didn't realize he was purchasing gold with real money. Sure, kid, at 15 and knowing more than your parents about technology, I'm sure you had no idea. In the past, Apple's been pretty good about at least partially refunding users in cases like this, but they haven't said whether they will in this case or not. The Belgian Gambling Commission is outraged over the occurrence and is calling for stricter rules in free-to-play titles.
As we have just seen, this lady has used multiple literary techniques. She used emotive words such as absurd and outrage to try and sway the audience into taking her side that this is a very bad case, and thus that microtransactions are a negative investment.
I cry every time. However, I think it is unfair that you choose one irresponsible kid to represent the whole microtransaction to everybody, and ignoring the good about them.
That's stupid, Dr. Stupid.
Get wrecked, Scrub Lord.
Regardless, the example of the friends you interviewed is different, and an absurd comparison at that. The game that you mentioned was Team Fortress 2, which has a completely different structure and works through the trading of virtual goods, like your stupid hats. While in my opinion this is still absurd, it is less though than some kids spending tens of thousands of dollars on some mobile game. Plus, the trading of Team Fortress 2 items, their hats.
Apparently, I am now known as Dr. Stupid, and I think hats are great, especially those that are burning. This, sir, is the most expensive in-game item currently circulating in the world, worth well over $20,000.
Money well burned.
It's a burning investment.
I call a vote.
I call off.
Alright, now that we have settled that argument,
I won.
shut up, Dr. Stupid. Anyway, what we were talking about with Team Fortress 2 is almost a pointless argument, because even though Team Fortress 2 features a trading system that deals with $20,000 transactions, the vast majority of free-to-play games don't and just scream, "We want more money" at you. An example of a game that many use in this argument, and one that I have personally had experience with, is the mobile game The Simpsons Tapped Out.
Simpsons.
This game is so bad. You start off with a pretty normal game, and after about a day or two of playing it, it devolves into something you can only check once or twice a day, because you cannot play normally without paying money.
Oh, whatever, you're just exaggerating.
I am not. Furthermore, I have the screenshot of a comment from a blog at GameInformer.com. The user TK575 gives a very good point. The user TK575 points out, there are even some that are worse than The Simpsons, ones that don't just make it absurdly time-consuming to complete the game without cash purchases. Some make it just flat impossible to finish without spending money. The ones that sell you like $50 or $100 packs of coins or gems or whatever. For these glorified mini-games, and people complain about the cost of other games. Imagine having to pay $100 for My Little Pony or something, and that's the other issue. A lot of these type of games are marketed to kids. That I find very offensive. You make a game an adult would blow $100 to play, fine. I think it's insane, but it's their money. But I think there would be more outcry by parents for the ones targeting kids. TK575 points out that there are free-to-play games even worse than The Simpsons example. He talks about how there are games that are downright impossible to play or finish without giving the developers of the games stupidly large amounts of money.
I agree with this statement. There are a lot of free-to-play games out there that are pay to win, and to complete the game, you have to pay more money. But it's not all that bad. Let's have a look at the interview that we took. Last week at E3, we interviewed some Major League Gamers, or MLG, and asked them about their opinion on this matter.
Thanks, Dr. Stupid. This is Felix Kjellberg, an MLG League of Legends player. Felix, we are here today as part of a special report for our daily gaming news show. Today, we are talking about microtransactions. What are your thoughts on the topic, Felix?
Hi Alex, thanks for having me over.
So this is a topic I am very in the middle about. The game that I play professionally, League of Legends, has microtransactions, but they're mostly just cosmetic. So I can pay money and change what my character looks like, but it doesn't give me any particular advantage over other players. I think that this is a good model for a free-to-play game, and Riot Games, the people who made League of Legends, make millions of dollars off of these payments. That's a very good point of view, Felix. One that I'm sure most of the viewers can agree with. But what do you think about microtransactions in games such as mobile games? Ones that demand you pay money to have a more joyful experience.
Oh, those I do not agree with.
I have tried some popular mobile games like Candy Crush, Pada, or whatever it's called, and got annoyed by the fact that it kept asking me for money. This eventually drove me to get rid of the game, because I was almost offended by it. Alright, thanks Felix, for your time. That's all our time for today. And now, over to Dr. Freeman, who also interviewed an MLG gamer, Max, known for being the best sniper in the game Team Fortress 2.
Thank you, Alex. I am here today with Max. So, Max, what are your thoughts on this topic? Dr. Freeman, I am happy to say that I have the same opinion as you do. Microtransactions are good. I've been playing Team Fortress 2 since it came out in 2008, and I never regret spending a single cent on it. What are your thoughts on microtransaction on pay-to-win games such as Clash of Clans or The Simpsons Tap Out? Well, Dr. Freeman, I never really supported those types of games, never really got into them, so I wouldn't know. What I've heard from people is that it's very addictive and some spend away their life money on these games, and you can't even get anything out of it. I mean, sure, you have fun, but you can't claim the money back like in TF2. Thank you, Max! And now, back to the studio. And now, for our daily Half-Life 3 show. Is Half-Life 3 out yet?
No, it's not!
Our love and saving game, how could you?
Anyway, now that we're done crying, it's about time we started wrapping this up.
Indeed! What have you learned today, kids?
We discussed microtransactions.
Yes.
We saw that microtransactions have both the good and bad side.
Yes.
And we interviewed some MLG gamers.
Yes.
We saw the bad side of microtransactions, which was that it gives some players a big advantage, or it can just be downright rude how much money they ask you for.
But we also saw the good side of microtransactions. It brings more profit to the game makers without ruining the game or making it unfair for the gamers.
But the question we ask is,
What do you think?
I think they're making a lot of change off people with too much spare change.
True.
Do you think microtransactions are a good investment?
See you next time on the next episode of Good Mythical Gaming. Bye.